this question, real simple. Regardless of the breed of dog, if you could choose between male or female to train for the rest of your life, which would you pick? Now, I think it's a real interesting question, and I get it a lot. People always say, you always have females. Is there a reason? Not in particular. It's not always a reason. A lot of times when we're training dogs, they're for clients. So it's very much dictated or predicated on what the clients want. But you will notice that our own dogs are females. I personally do have a preference. I like females. The same question could be asked about colors. I get that a lot too. I like black dogs. When it comes to Labrador Retriever, I like the black. And so my wife really, I think if she had her preference, she'd pick a yellow, and that's fine, but we have blacks. But I joke about that because someday I'm sure we will have a yellow, but I do prefer females. I think it is 100% preference. I don't think that there is one's better than the other. I like training females, but at the same time, I would say over the years, historically, the best dog that I could say I ever owned, from a training perspective, and his life was a lot shorter than I wish it would have been. He was hit by a truck, but and so I lost him way too early. But he was a he, and he was fantastic. And this was many years ago. It was 2003. He was my first British dog, actually, my first British Lab. I bought him in 2003, and excellent little dog. But I have not owned. I think I had him. I had a black dog named Boone for a while that was mine. That was a male. The majority of the dogs that I've owned over the years are females, and I do prefer the females. Like if I'm going to have my choice, I think the things you got to take into consideration are some real simple scientific things. A lot of them like to mark. They like lifting their legs. They're a lot like young men. They get distracted pretty easily when there's a couple girls around. So that can get in the way. They tend to be a bit more territorial. So they're scent marking stuff, and particularly if they're not fixed. I'm not a proponent for the idea of getting your dog fixed early. I think I like to wait till they're 18 months to 2 years, ideally. But so one of the reasons maybe too that we tend to, he asked for the rest of my life, which would I pick? Probably female. But one of the reasons that you're probably going to see females with us too is because we do a very, very limited amount of breeding, but we do have females that by not having a male here, it's one less thing to think about. So I'm not so set on it, but I do have reasoning to go female. It's simply science. I don't want to have accidental litters, and so that's it. I think it's preference. A lot of times when it comes to selecting dogs, my answer is a lot of times directly connected to preference. And that is important because one of the things that an old trainer told me a long time ago that I actually think has way more validity to it than we give it credit for and not often talked about is you should like your dog. Like if you and I know that sounds weird, but I think it's really important to pick one that you like right from the start, because that means breed, that means male or female, that means color, that means size, that means disposition and temperament as best you can. And I think you can gauge that a lot by doing research on the parents. Like throws like is a real accurate statement when it comes to dogs. Mom and dad are gonna throw puppies that are a lot like them. So, I do think that you should like your dog. Because the simple reason why, and when I heard that, I kind of was taken back a little bit, and I'm like, what do you mean? You should make sure you like it. And it was explained to me, if you like your dog, it's a lot more likely that you will work with them. It's if you don't like somebody, you avoid them. If you like someone, you want to spend time with them. And when you want to spend time with them, that's when repetitions take place, and that's where consistency comes in. As long as you are consistent and you're consistently with someone, that you impact them, you change them, and so you start to shape them. So by simply liking your dog, which sounds ridiculously simple, by doing that, you increase your chances of success. So male or female, for me, I'm going to pick a female if I have to pick one or the other. That certainly doesn't mean that males aren't good. It certainly doesn't mean that I won't have a male at some point in my life. But right now, that's what I'm going for, and that's the reason.